Good morning, afternoon, evening, or wherever it is that you are across the world listening to the All-American Savage Show podcast. I am your host, John Burke, with my beautiful bearded husband here, Josh, sitting right next to me looking sexy as ever.
How you doing?
Oh, man. I hope everybody has been having a wonderful Friday. It's Friday. Oh, man. Classic. Very classic. Well, before we get the show started today, we want to give a big shout out to my friend Brian from Toys for Tots in the Metroplex area here in Dallas, DFW area, And he's been going around collecting a lot of wonderful donations. This guy has been doing a lot for the underprivileged families in this area. This man goes out there, he goes to various businesses and collects these toy drives. And we were able to donate $2,000 today on behalf of Shell Shock due to everyone's support of our company. We are so incredibly grateful that people put us in a position to be able to do this and give back, and then grateful for people like Brian that honestly, I trust Brian. He's never lied to me. He's never wronged me. I know if I give him that money or we give him that money, it's going where he says it's going to go. This man has also stood out on street corners in uniform and saluted as funerals pass by for fallen service members and law enforcement officers. He went viral years back. I think he went to D.C. or someplace where he stood and held the salute. I think it was like up to like 5 hours. This guy does so much for so many other people. His picture is on my Instagram page, which leads me to the most recent announcement. Shell Shock CBD got banned on Instagram yesterday. We don't know why. They didn't give us any notification. They pulled a post we shared a story about a happy customer. They yanked the story and they banned the account. Fear not, we have Shell Shock CBD 1, the number 1. Shell Shock CBD spelled out, the number 1. That is our new account. We had Political Theater. That was a t-shirt thing, which we were testing around. Didn't really work out. So we converted that into Shell Shock CBD 1. That is the new main page. And on that page, you can see Brian there. And you should definitely go give it a look-see, leave a comment. Brian is a good man. He works really hard. He's raised a beautiful daughter. He's got a very happy family. Just a good guy all around. So thank you for those of you out there that have supported Shell Shock and allowing us to do that. That's a result of your patronage, your donations. So big thank you for that. And as you know, this episode is brought to you by ShellShockCBD.com. And again, we have launched the hemp tea. We have various different flavors. We have mint, lavender chamomile, in orange citrus, 25 milligrams of CBD per tea bag. So if you know somebody in your life that just needs to calm the hell down, give them a nice tea bag. Nice tea bag to the face. They'll appreciate it. I was going to give you a tea
bag for Christmas.
Cinnamon? That? You do that for my birthday and a cinnamon one? Oh, 'tis the season, I guess. 'Tis the season, I guess. But anyway, big shout out to y'all. Thank you for this. And again, check it out, ShellShockCBD.com for your hemp tea needs. It is THC free. You will not fail a drug test. And we have the lavender chamomile, which has actual chamomile in it. So if you need help sleeping, that will help you as well. We also have the Rack Out gummies that are 15 milligrams of CBD and 5 milligrams of melatonin. But the hemp tea, is 25 milligrams of just CBD and chamomile. That'll help you sleep if you're just not into melatonin. So it's another option that you have. Yeah, another avenue you can take. You know, some people don't like gummies. Some people can't take melatonin, whatever the case. At least we have variety now and options for people out there.
And it works.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Yeah. But again, they banned it.
And they taste great.
Yeah. They banned it. It is what it is. That's just the way it works. So we just create more backup accounts. We'll infest this platform like cockroaches. We'll have so many freaking accounts. And we will keep pushing, man. We'll keep pushing. So thank you to everybody that does that. All right, so let's get into it. This day in history. I like how you were really trying to slip. Let's go, man.
Let's go, man.
Let's go, man.
You can't do it. Come on, Frank.
Oh, my God. All right, this day, and I'm going to go ahead and cut the music because I'm not going to finish this one. Let's get to so you can see the screen. And thank you for everybody that subscribes on Twitch. Greatly appreciate y'all out there. All right, this day in history, first airplane flies near Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Orville and Wilbur Wright make the first successful flight in history of a self-propelled, heavier than air aircraft on December 17th of 1903. Orville piloted the gasoline-powered propeller-driven biplane, which stayed aloft for 12 seconds and covered 120 feet on its inaugural flight. Orville and Wilbur Wright grew up in Dayton, Ohio, and developed an interest in aviation after learning of the glider flights of the German engineer Otto Lilienthal in the 1890s. Unlike their older brothers, Orville and Wilbur did not attend college, but they possessed extraordinarily technical ability and a sophisticated approach to solving problems in mechanical designs. They built printing presses and in 1892 opened a bicycle sales and repair shop. Soon they were building their own bicycles, and this experience, combined with the profits from their various businesses, allowed them to pursue actively their dream of building the world's first airplane. There is so much to dissect there and unpack. I love the fact that these guys, number one, and please don't take this the wrong way, they had no formal college education. These guys were business owners. They understood multiple streams of revenue to basically pursue what it is they wanted to do. I like the fact that they represent the American dream right there. And they created the first airplane. You know,
It's amazing what the government can do.
huh?
Oh, that's right. The government doesn't do anything.
I
They
knew
weren't
you
in
were
the
going
way.
somewhere
They
with
weren't in
that.
the way.
Back before they had the freaking all the licensing restrictions and shit like
Yeah.
that. So that's incredible. Like, really think about it. Like, they invented the first airplane. Like, there was no idea of flight back then. I mean, there was gliding, but nobody had developed the concept of flight. They just said, we are going to make something fly. Man will fly. And we look what we have today. It's incredible. Yeah. It's amazing how something like, yeah, just American ingenuity right there.
Revolutionized the world.
You know, it's funny you say, yeah.
I did.
They the world's first. They were the
Yeah.
way. I think more in the context of America, they were the world's 1st. Mm-hmm. That's impressive.
Very impressive, yeah.
Because not long after that, we had World War I, and that's when dogfighting first took off. No pun intended. To where they were mounting. You know, it's kind of sad to say this, but this is just the way the world works. You take something that's pure and noble and awesome, and then you
turn it into a weapon of war.
Turn it into a weapon of war, and that's what we have now.
You know, I bet we could kill people with that.
I would probably think the same thing. I'm not going to lie. I bet we can drop bombs from that.
You know, we could do with that airplane.
You know what looked good falling out of it? Communists. That's what looked good falling out. I don't know, man.
I guess
that's just crazy to me.
World you're in.
Okay, well, no, I'm getting corrected in the chat. Somebody said they already had. Excuse me, I correct myself. Hot air balloons. I mean,
it's not really the same thing as an airplane.
Well, I mean, flight is flight, but I think more in terms
you're not going
to
go into a war with the air balloon, right?
They actually did.
Oh, did they?
They actually did.
Never mind.
No, they did. And it was a horrible concept because they kept getting shot down. They had tried it at some point. Like, yeah, this ain't going to work. Yeah. We probably shouldn't do this anymore. They keep shooting up the balloons. We keep falling. So, I don't know, man. But that's still impressive. So, that's this day in history. Let's get into it. And here is the news. Right here, Fauci pushes new word for mandates. I love how they always try and change the verbiage.
Yeah.
They always do this. Fauci pushes new word for mandates, admits changing fully vaccinated definition to certainly on the table. Wait, what? Okay, Fauci pushes new word for mandates, admits changing fully vaccinated definition certainly on the table. Okay, Fauci stressed that optimum protection includes a booster shot. Dr. Anthony Fauci said Friday that the possibility of changing the definition of for fully vaccinated is certainly on the table as the number of new COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations continue to surge due to the Omicron variant. Oh boy, here we go. I'm going to have to probably pull down my YouTube channel. Stop streaming on that because YouTube, I love you. I've caught in 2 bans on this for discussing this, so I'm going to have to pull the YouTube stream. Apologies for this. You can come over to my Twitch account, but I keep catching bans on YouTube because I can't even talk about COVID on YouTube without getting accused of spreading medical misinformation. And all I'm doing is reading an article right here. They will still ban me on this one. So I'm going to pull down the John Burke YouTube channel. We have 130-something live viewers right now. Apologies for that. You can check me out on Twitch or my other YouTube channel, which is live right now. It's John Burke, the All-American Savage Show podcast. Apologies for this, guys. I appreciate your love and support. Just go over to the other YouTube channel. It's John Burke, the All-American Savage Show. You will see us streaming live over there. They don't flag that one for some reason, so I'll see you guys over there. All right, we've had to end the YouTube stream. Again, I apologize for that, but I cannot afford to get any more strikes against my account. I already have 2. One more and my channel gets deleted. As much as I want to bring you all the information, I can't do it on that platform because they're goddamn fucking fascists. So, Dr. Anthony Fauci said Friday that the possibility of changing the definition for fully vaccinated is certainly on the table as the number of new COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations continue to surge due to the Omicron variant. That's interesting to me because we talked about earlier, like there was literally no deaths from Omicron like a week ago. Mm-hmm. And now suddenly it's surging, it's spiking. Everybody and their mom is getting Omicron. And I'm not saying Omicron doesn't exist, but I can't believe anything the government puts out there.
Honestly, it sounds like a weaker version of what's already been out there. So
Well,
I would want to get that if I hadn't had it, just because it's a weaker version. So you get the Omicron.
We talked about this with Pete Buttigieg, who made that stupid comment who talked about that the unvaccinated are the reason for these mutations, and that's not the case.
No.
Because if there is nothing to fight the disease or the virus, there's nothing to cause the mutation. And I'm speaking out of my ass here. Now, please keep that in mind. I'm not a virologist. I am not a medical personnel. I know how to patch a bullet hole and like maybe stitch up a wound. That's about it. But from my understanding, based upon the things that I've been reading, that these variants are occurring as a result of these vaccinations, kind of like the flu. It basically mirrors like what the flu is doing. So when you have a flu vaccine or a flu shot, the flu changes itself and mutates. So with this Omicron variant, it's not the unvaccinated causing these mutations. And look, I'm not even blaming the vaccinated for this because it's your body, it's your choice to do with what you want. But I feel like if these people, especially these political leaders, are going to try and shift blame on specific people, because that's what it's all about right now with this whole thing. Like all the vaccinated are trying to, I shouldn't say all, excuse me. A lot of vaccinated people and high influential figures are trying to put blame on people as to why this pandemic's continuing, yada, yada, yada.
I think you probably say leftist who are vaccinated.
Well, no, because I've seen people on the right as well. Like this whole vaccine thing, it's gone across the aisle. There are conservatives that are kind of like, yeah, do your part and all this stuff. It's just, to me, it's like you can't blame the unvaccinated for the variants. Like, it's not their fault. But I just find it very interesting that, like, I don't know. You look at this Omicron, it's a new variant, it's this, it's new.
It's going to constantly change. It's not, it's not going away.
And then Johnson & Johnson CEO says, yeah, you're probably going to have about 4 boosters for this. This is, bro, they are making bank on this.
Oh, they're making
so much money.
Truckloads of money.
And all these socialists, all these Democrats out there that are against large-scale corporations, you are eating this up with a spoon because basically the only reason you're doing this is that, in your mind, your perspective is that it eventually could impact your individual safety. That's when you actually throw your cares out the window. It's like, okay, well, I'm willing to support large-scale corporations if it means I don't die. And again, 99.1% survivability rating, Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. So that's,
I'll tell you, if there was a Democratic president in office when this thing was released, it would have been gone by now. Nobody would be wearing masks.
Think so?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because
look at the swine flu.
Yeah, because Trump started it and then Biden continued. So yeah.
So when Obama was president, the swine flu was a big deal, right? Everybody's worried about the swine flu.
Yeah. Or the N1H1 as well.
Right. And then it just kind of fizzled out.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue that more people died from that than they did from this.
I don't know off the top of my head, but I do know that Trump, I'm watching on social media, Trump is catching a lot of flack now because a lot of GOP people are like telling Trump, stop peddling the vaccine, stop pushing this vaccine. Because Trump has said it. He even got booed at one of his own rallies, talking about get the vaccine, and he started getting booed. I like that. I like the fact that people are pushing back against God, King, Emperor Trump.
Yeah.
Like, even Trump can't see that. That makes me happy to see
I think he was a great president, but I think doing the bailouts was a bad idea.
I agree.
Giving everybody a check.
I agree.
That was a terrible idea.
Yep.
And then, doing the vaccine, the whole lockdown thing. I wouldn't have done any of it.
Yeah, I agree.
If I was him, I would have been like, let's do some therapies.
Yeah.
What do we have? Listen to doctors. I mean, when the hydroxychloroquine came out.
Yeah.
It's
the horse dewormer, by the way, people. That's
ivermectin.
So, that's right. Yeah, sorry.
So the hydroxychloroquine was the first one that came out.
Yeah, horse dewormer, and
Tucker
Rogan
Carlson
took it,
had on his show, and
wow.
He's like, yeah, I've had 100 patients. They've all taken it. They've all recovered.
It's funny.
Tucker was like, wow, that's the biggest news of the day right now.
But it's not making anybody serious money. So these other corporations are in bed with big tech and government are going to try and censor everything they can.
Yeah.
Like this, again, this is not capitalism. This is corporatism. This is what I'm against. When you have the government getting involved and they're in bed with big tech and MSM and they control the narrative and they try to press and censor anyone that has a dissenting opinion, then we have a problem.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at now. So, and we talked about it last episode, when Republicans, and I think they will, when Republicans take back the House and the Senate in 2022 midterms, that needs to be on the top of the list for a lot of GOP people out there. Is like, push these people to go after big tech and remove government protection.
Yeah.
That's what needs to be, to regulate this the right way. You have to do that. You cannot have government protection. Like, I can't even believe the government even protects them.
They're not platforms anymore. They're publishers.
Especially when Facebook comes out and says, "Oh, by the way, our fact checking is opinion based." So then, you are now an editor.
Yep.
Like, I just don't understand how anybody can even see them as like being protected or justifiably being protected from these lawsuits. Like, they deserve it.
Yeah.
And then Zuckerberg, like, I see now they're trying to push this metaverse hardcore now. And I'm seeing it on both sides of the aisle. The people are against this, like, nope. It's like, this is leading us down a very So let me backpedal real quick or backtrack real quick. We already have the metaverse. People don't realize this. In the VR world, this already exists. This is the first large-scale corporation to put a big spotlight on it as all. You can have VR stuff already. It's existed for a very long time. Now, it's not going to be the depth as far as graphics and stuff like that Facebook is going to do, but it's already there. And that's where a lot of these predators pick up their children's stuff. That's where it's these types of, oh yeah, it's a very, very dangerous world. Like my ex-wife who did child pornography, stuff like that with the DPD, they got a lot of motherfuckers from this kind of stuff. God, like it is unprotected. You don't know who you're talking to. It is a very, very dangerous world. And that's where all the predators are going to go because they feel like they have the safety of privacy. You know, nobody knows who they are. I didn't want to say it. I can't say that word.
Anonymity.
Fuck you.
Anonymity.
Anonymity. Oh my God. So, okay, reporters have continued to ask Fauci in the White House about possibility of changing the definition, which currently states a person is fully vaccinated when they have received 2 doses of a Pfizer or Moderna regime or a shot of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. In the face of Omicron, some have suggested that the definition should include a booster shot. Fauci maintained for weeks that the definition would not change until new data suggested it should, but Friday morning he finally planted his flag in the war of words around the pandemic, and he suggested that some terms may, and in one case should, change. This dude is on so many payrolls, like good grief. This dude is making so much money.
Who voted for the guy? Nobody. He's an employee.
He's an employee. I'm just... Yeah.
A government employee. Just the fact that he's still there is maddening.
I think more people hate him than like him. Biden needs to get rid of him.
Like, terrible.
It's, yeah.
If I was running for president, I'd be like, the first thing I'm going to do is fire
this guy, yeah.
I'm going to kick his ass right out the door.
A funny thing happened a few days ago, or was it yesterday, the day before? Elizabeth Warren decided to take it upon herself, Mrs. Speak with Forked Tongue, to go after Elon Musk. The thing I love about Elon Musk, he's so rich, he doesn't give a shit what any of these politicians think. I love that about him.
Yeah.
He's at that level of financial success that he honestly, it's like seeing an Amazon owner, but that actually has balls and stands for what's right. Now, there's some things I disagree with him.
Sense.
He does have common sense. He's basically told California to go fuck themselves. He picked up and moved to Austin, Texas. He's costing them a lot of money in their economy. Like he employed a lot of people.
Yeah.
And California with their strict freaking their codes, their all this stuff, their taxation, Texas is like, we'll take you. And he came over and boom, there you go. But Elizabeth Warren decided to take a jab at him. Elon Musk called Elizabeth Warren Senator Karen, and she reminded him of an angry mom. So basically, Elizabeth Warren retweeted an article from Boston Globe that basically says Elon Musk named Times Person of the Year. Elizabeth Warren shared this, and she wrote in the tweet saying, let's change the rigid tax code so the person of the year will actually pay taxes and stop freeloading off everyone else. Okay. I find this very funny and ironic that if we put Elizabeth Warren and Elon Musk side by side, who do you think pays more in taxes? Elon Musk, hands down. Like, do you really think this guy does not pay taxes?
I'll do you one better. Let's put them side by side and
who's done more for the economy
and say who's pretended to be a different nationality to further their career.
Yeah, 100%.
Which one of them have done that?
I love how these politicians do that and they feel no remorse.
Yeah, the fact that she's still able to be in government, that's mind-boggling. Like.
Why didn't cancel culture go after her when she was literally appropriating somebody else's culture?
Hands down, that's what she did.
Clearly, it's not
back
that
in
big.
the 70s.
Yeah, that's not a big deal to the left, though.
She knew back in the 70s it was better to be a Native American than it was to be a white woman.
Person, because you get benefits.
She
you
got
talked
into
about it
Harvard.
before. Yes. Like, if you're from a minority, you have a better chance now of getting into a high-esteemed college or anything like that than a white person.
Yep.
So we want to talk about like what you're afforded based upon your race and privilege. Minority privilege is real. Like, you can't even deny it at this point.
She stuck to her guns on it.
Yeah. And then she finally got called out. I was like, oh, my bad. Me speak, I'm sorry. Me full of shit. Like, she's such an idiot. But, again, cultural appropriation does not really matter to the left. Because if it did, Elizabeth Warren would be out of a job. They would have canceled her a long time ago. They did not. Instead, they went after Uncle Ben and Aunt Jemima. Well done. We stopped racism.
The cream of wheat.
Cream of wheat. Yeah, that's just...
You know what?
You know what I think when I get an Uncle Ben's rice? Man, I miss the days of slavery.
What's the cereal with the white guy on it with the blue hat and the long white hair?
Oh, yes. You know yeah. It's an oatmeal.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, though.
So I got...
Wait, did they take him off of it?
No, he's on there, okay. But The
What is
cream
the
of
name
wheat
of that?
guy's gone.
Quaker Oats. Quaker Oats.
guy.
Thank you, Chad.
Quaker
Thank
Oats
you
guy.
that.
Yeah.
Quaker
So he's
Oats.
still on the box.
But what is he though? Is he?
The Quaker Oats guy?
Yeah.
It's like cereal, oatmeal.
Yeah, but I'm saying, what is he a representation of? Like the colonial?
Yeah, I guess.
Or
I
is
don't
he- or
know.
is he
But
English?
the fact that he's a white guy and they took all these black people off of these boxes like it was some sort
Oh, that's a good point.
of like the cream of wheat. The cream of wheat guy was just wearing a chef hat.
Well, no, wait a minute. I think it was because Uncle Ben's rice. Well, Aunt Jemima I got because, that was a stereotype back in the days of Aunt Jemima. It was,
I
but
think
she
that-
was real.
isn't
She
that a
was
real- that was
she
a real person.
Yeah, but there was also a lot of I'm not justifying what they did. I don't agree with it. But they viewed it as if it was a racial slavery-based stereotype, which back in the day, if you look at movies like Gone with the Wind and stuff like that, it kind of was. But she was real. And if you look at the history of Aunt Jemima, she was a millionaire. Like she crushed it. And her family didn't even want them to do that. Her family were like, oh, we're cool with it. Yeah. Like, we're making money. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. It was a great syrup.
But good job. Good job. They stopped the racism.
I know.
Racism's over, ladies and gentlemen. We should get George Bush on an air carrier.
All the black people off of these.
Mission accomplished, folks. We've knocked out racism. We freed them.
It's
and we took their
incredible.
oil.
It's
Anyway.
incredible. But
So Elizabeth Warren tweets this. She says, let's change the rigid tax code. I love how she doesn't specify what is in the tax code. Like, what are you talking about? The rich pay. You talked about this. The 1% of wealthy in this country pay up to 40% of the taxes, overall tax in this country. What the fuck are you talking about?
It's a little
And
over 40%. Yeah.
And then let's do a side-by-side comparison of Elizabeth Warren and Elon Musk. Who do you think has actually done more to stimulate the economy? Who do you think has done more for job creation? Who do you think has done more for putting food on people's tables? Like, are you serious with this? Like, she wants to go after somebody. This is like the audacity. It's like Harry Potter and the Harry Potter and the audacity of this cunt. It's like, this is it. This is it. Like, you really want to flex against Elon Musk, who put a fucking Tesla in space because he has fuck you money? And this guy, he does so much that you don't even know about. Like, you really want to go after this? Like, who the hell do you think you are?
Who are you?
Where do you get off? Josh does it better.
Where do you get off? Who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are?
Seriously,
Like, you
I
really
mean,
want to flex
she
on
wrote
Elon
a book
Musk.
About what was it called, like Choctaw
Oh
cooking?
yeah, it was Indian recipes that her
Yeah,
family
Native-
handed down,
yeah,
which is
Native-
bullshit because her family wasn't Native American. So who's handing this down to her? Where did you get this from? You probably went to a fucking Indian casino and you're like, you know what? I saw this on the buffet. I'm gonna write a fucking cookbook about this.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
Terrible.
But the best part about this is Elon's response because Elon doesn't give a fuck, and I love that about him.
he owns her. Finish her.
Yes. I love I love that he did. He said, please don't call the. And then he continued to tweet. He said, you remind me of when I was a kid and my friend's angry mom would just randomly yell at everyone for no reason.
Stop jumping up there.
I love that a blue check is going after a blue check and she can't do shit about it. I love that. And now she'll be. I love the fact that he has created a trend now to where she's being referred to as Senator Karen. I love it.
She probably likes that better than Pocahontas.
But who was it? Somebody. Oh God, who? It was Joy Behar on The View said that this is true. She said that Elon Musk calling her Senator Karen was appropriating black language and utilizing white. It was something.
Joy Reid said that.
Or Joy Reid, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're two of the same cunts, just different labia lips. That's all it is. Different labia lips to the same cunt. That's who they are. And this is why we'll never be on Fox. But it's the truth. It's like, what are you talking about? He called her a Karen. A Karen is usually a white person.
Yeah.
Like a Karen was like the soccer mom with the pixie cut that wanted to speak to the manager.
I think it was Dane Cook who started that.
Yeah, something
from
like
a
that.
bit, yeah. Back
It's
in
like, how the fuck-
2005.
Like Democrats,
do that.
this is like a perfect. It was Joy Reid. Okay, so it's a perfect.
Yeah,
it's
Joy Reid.
Joy Reid is. Oh, she's the black supremacist
MSF,
racist chick.
yeah.
Yeah, she. Oh my God, she's like a black supremacist. She's the most racist black woman I see out there. She's a piece of shit. Just a piece of shit human
She
being.
said it was the
Everything
black
to her-
vernacular for him to use the word Karen.
Oh
appropriate.
God.
But Senator Warren, being an Indian,
yeah.
is not appropriation.
That woman is such a piece of shit.
another-
She tries to make everything about her and her race. Like you consider God bless you. Oh, because I'm black? No. Well, now I just hope you fucking die, you piece of shit. Like, wow, what a cunt. She's a legit cunt. Like, they're all cunts. I feel no animosity for saying like that. You call them what they are. They're fucking. I can't even imagine being married to one of those two.
mean,
Like,
she's a
imagine being
total
married to Joy
dirt
Behar.
bag. Yeah.
Is anybody married to her?
I don't know.
God bless the man that is. Like, I'm surprised you haven't committed suicide yet. I would. That, or I'd be like, we're getting divorced. I'm gonna turn gay after like being with that. Ugh.
I know. Ugh, God.
But basically, Elon Musk owned her. It was really good, really funny to watch. And, again, I also think it serves as a wonderful testament to what private enterprise can do versus government.
Elon, if you're listening, we'd love to have you on the podcast.
Elon, I love you, bro. You can come in here and smoke weed. We'll replicate what you did with Joe Rogan. Maybe we'll do some Delta 8 together. That'd be wonderful. But I think it's a great example of what private enterprise, when done correctly, can do against government regulation or government figures. Like Elon has done far more for this country than Elizabeth Warren ever has in her long and I wouldn't say illustrious political career. Yeah. She's another career politician. Yeah. These are pieces of shit. They're disgusting individuals. They're sleazebag dirtballs, and that's why you trust no politician.
Produce nothing. Produce nothing. Yeah. And he's producing vehicles,
bro. I would
technology.
Jobs. I would love to pull the stats on what he's done. Like, this guy has made so much money and done so much. Like,
it's impressive.
Yeah, it is. It's very. Next story comes to us. Shit, I skipped out of it. Fuck. San Francisco drivers leave trunks open as car break-ins surge. I just accidentally deleted another article. I forget where it was from. I think it was from Fox, and talked about how there's a huge surge. We've talked about this before. The surge in these smash and grabs is continuing to skyrocket. Now there is video footage all over the country of people in hoodies and covering their faces going in there, and essentially, I think the one article talked about there was a man that would walk up past the store and put something on the ground and walk beyond, and that was a signal for his group to go in there, smash, and run. That was how he identified which store to hit, which you could easily just sit there and say, that's a store right there.
Yeah, apparently are they arresting anybody? Or
that's the other thing. Like, I don't know. So San Francisco drivers leave trunks open as car break-ins surge. I'm pretty sure that Seth Rogen's really gonna like this because he basically talked about give the people what they need. Your car is not an extension of you, so let them have whatever's in it. It's like, that's mighty rich of you to say, Seth Rogen, you piece of shit. Drivers in San Francisco are leaving their car trunks open in an effort to fend off potential auto burglaries, as the city reported a 32% increase in car break-ins over the past year. Holy shit. 32%, that's not a joke. Like 32%, that's a lot. I'm shocked, said Garrett Tom, former San Francisco Police Department deputy chief. Are you really shocked, bro? Like, come on. Really? There's so much that can go wrong here. Tom noted that we're in different times and cautioned that leaving the trunk open would invite more thieves instead of deterring them. They could steal your batteries, your tires, he told KGO TV. They could go into your glove compartment and find out where you live. San Francisco is not the only Bay Area city to suffer from increased car break-ins. And neighboring Oakland, that's a great city right there, let me tell you, been there. Oh my God, that place is horrible. Both car break-ins and auto burglaries increased by 27% this year. We've got to do more to get us through this holiday season, Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf said. Schaaf called on private property owners to assist in the city's surveillance of these criminals by installing security cameras. That's not going to change anything.
No.
They're covering themselves up and doing it anyway. You know what's going to change it? You start shooting them.
Plus, they defunded the police, so
there's
that.
Have that, yeah. Pointing the camera towards the street and register it with the Oakland Police Department. So, absolutely. That's what I want to do. I'm going to give you access to my own private security camera. I wouldn't trust you as far as I could throw you.
Hell no.
But I will tell you what will stop this right now. You start dropping a lot of these pieces of shit. You see them breaking in your car, you go out there and you riddle them with bullets, and that'll stop it. Because then other potential burglars know, hey, if I do this, I could get killed.
Yeah.
So now we have to weigh, take into account, or at least weigh out, is this worth my life? Is me breaking into this Honda Civic worth me possibly catching a bullet to the face? If it's not, I'm probably not going to do it. But this is what happens when you go soft on crime. This is why Democrats are failing left and right. This is why a lot of Democrats in these blue cities that are seeing these upticks and all these violent crime and these break-ins are very unhappy and dissatisfied right now. Because Democrats, by and large, are usually very, very, very weak on crime. And this is what happens. And they accuse others of not going weak on crime of being racists. So you want to defund the police? You want to go weak on crime? This is what happens.
These people, they just don't know.
They go off of feelings, yeah.
Right. And then now they do this. Now
I think...
all over. They just don't belong in government. They don't belong
they don't
in
know
a position to where they're governing.
They don't have the ability to lead.
No, they're getting paid.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's politics in general.
Yeah,
though.
That's it. I mean, and anybody that's been in politics for half a century.
Yeah.
And Biden.
Who again, in another, oh my God. Can somebody please tell this guy to stop reading end quote or end of statement on the teleprompter when he's doing these speeches?
I know Ron Burgundy.
He did the Bob Dole one at the funeral. Like, Jesus Christ, this guy's a joke. He called Kamala president again. This guy, like, okay, Bastiat, he probably doesn't listen to the podcast. I remember Bastiat that I debated on Twitch a few times. Good dude. But Bastiat swore to me, I think it's like a year ago when Biden was about to get elected. He's like, he does not have dementia. He's not dealing with all. It's no. Are you a doctor? It's like, okay, all right, right. Like I said before, I don't have to be a mechanic to know when my car's fucked up.
Yeah.
This guy is showing clear in cases of, what do they call it? Sundowners, basically when they get really tired, they're very disoriented, they forget. Biden is showing this. He is showing this.
Yeah.
And people are still living in ignorance because they don't want their party to fail.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, the pilot is asleep at the freaking. Yeah.
I just don't understand why. I mean,
like,
if you go to the gas pump right now,
the gas place right outside of where I live. Oh, here's what I love about the left versus right when it comes to memeing and making fun of. It is wonderful about creating and fabricating these fake social justice causes that are based upon behavior and not principle. And that's how they are. But when it comes to the right is so much more savage. They meme 10 times better. The whole let's go Brandon caught an international trend.
I know.
The Biden stickers now in the gas tanks are saying, I did that. The I shit my pants. Kamala Harris cackling. All this stuff. Senator Karen. Like, bro, like, I'm sorry, leftists. You do not win when it comes to owning the internet. The internet owns you. The right definitely knows how to meme 10 times better than the left because all the left has is just racist stuff. Like, you're so racist, and we just make fun of you for it. Like, you deserve order kind of like writes itself to when you're socially kind of weird or awkward or whatever the case, and people kind of bully you back into being, stop doing that. That's fucking weird. I'm not justifying. I'm saying that's what happens, and it kind of does need to happen to the left. It will burn out. Like, trust me, it's going to go away over time. We look at back in like the 1960s and 70s, the era of Woodstock and shit like that, free love, all this dumb stuff. We're going through the same thing right now with the emergence of social media and everybody getting a voice. It takes a while but the pronoun stuff, the multiple gender stuff, it's going to die off because the millennials that push this bullshit are going to. I
normally when you're younger, you lean more Democratic.
Yeah, because you think you know everything about.
You think
the
you
world.
know everything.
Yeah, for equality, now you're kind of like, I want them out of my life.
Yep.
I want them out of my life.
And then you evolve that great of a president.
Exactly. Like, that's 6 years. Like, if we look back, that I would see Bush bashing Trump, Bush being a bigger neocon or a bigger warmonger than anybody out there.
I know.
Cheney, Rumsfeld, all these people. Bored of, at least I was because I was 17. Y'all are some not good people.
I know,
like,
man.
I can't believe I fought for you. Like, I really can't. Like, a position where I am against the military-industrial complex. Not the military members, but the complex that is so big on pushing expansionism into these other countries we have no business being involved in. America needs to focus on America.
Yep.
And that's where I never thought I'd see myself standing and saying, don't join the army. No, like, don't. Unless you have nothing going on in your life, that you have no leads out of your situation, do something else, man. Like, and I'm not trying to say that there's nothing that can be gained from joining the military, but right now, I would never want to serve under Biden. I would not want to serve under Biden. I wouldn't want my kids to go
just because I wouldn't want them to go in some endless proxy war.
Exactly.
Over what?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have to have this conversation, and we've done
under
this
the guise of democracy.
Yeah, This is not patriotism. Like, and I'm please don't take me the wrong way. I'm pretty sure all the veteran communities get pissed off at me again, but whatever. I'm not saying that I'm against the Army in general. I'm not saying that I'm against the military in general. I love our military. I support our troops. You know this. Fuck, I was one of you. But what I am not for is, like Josh just said, these proxy wars with these other countries where we have no business being involved in. And the reason I say that is because that's not worth American lives. The very same people are going to accuse me of hating the military. It's like, I'm against this because I want your life here at home in America. I don't want you overseas dealing with some bullshit right now that we have no business getting involved in. That is not our problem. Let them fight and die. America has had its wars. And a lot of those wars we brought on ourselves. Like, we shouldn't have been involved in there because the lies they spread, we never found weapons of mass destruction. I was like, there could have been alternate ways we handled that stuff like that. But as far as a whole out invasion, fuck me, man. $7 trillion dumped in the Middle East, thousands of American lives wasted me. Forfeited, slain, fallen, whatever you want to call it. I lost a few brothers over there too.
Lost too early.
Yeah. And it's just kind of like, I'm not pro military industrial complex. I'm not. I used to be. I was like, we need to go over there and give them freedom. It's like, no, we don't. If you want freedom, you better go fight and die for it. Because if you don't, you're not going to appreciate it. That's why we have people in America right now that don't appreciate the freedoms that we have because they've never actually had to put their lives on the line to have it. So they take for granted and they take advantage of that. And that's what America needs to get punched in the face again right now. Like, and that's what it's going to take. Like,
I think it's the Democrats that need to get punched. Socialism. Okay, so that's
before the podcast. Why a lot of these people, horrible, tyrannical dictatorship governments, and when they come over here, they're like, wait a minute, I don't know. I don't want this to turn into what I just ran from. And I totally understand that. So I think there's a lot of narrative being pushed as far as, like, they're bringing in all these illegals to vote blue. It's like, are they? Like, are they really? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
I think the people who cross the border illegally are in it for, a quick buck.
Yeah.
But the immigrants
they're in for the long haul, yeah.
For the immigrants that come over and do it the right way, go through the procedure and, start their own business and, really put time and effort into becoming an American.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that you want into the country because those are the people who give back.
Yeah. 100%.
And the ones who cross over, it's not right. It's not fair to the people who've done it the right way.
If we believe in a fairness and equality, then Democrats should be staunch supporters of legal immigration and not illegal immigration. But that's what all these people are. There's no such thing as an illegal human being. It's like, I'm pretty sure if they come into your house to rape your children, they're illegal.
Yeah.
Not illegal immigrants. I'm talking about like somebody just walking into your house. That's an illegal. They're illegally. So, and that's where they like to twist the words. It's like, illegal human being is like, no, what you're doing is illegal. It doesn't make you illegal as a human being. That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, it's like,
you're an illegal immigrant. You're an immigrant that's here illegally.
Yeah.
That's what they do. They always try and change the wording to make it sound more as if they're just like being more noble. It's like there's no such thing as me. Yeah, shut up, Meg. Stupid bitch. Talking about social media controlling a narrative. Now, look, you take this with a grain of salt, ladies and gentlemen. TikTok school threat warning of concern. Although it's deemed not, messages reportedly circulating as unfounded threats, warning of shootings, and violence reportedly are circulating on TikTok. One of the posts refers to a threat to school safety for every school in the USA, even elementary, on Friday, December 17, 2021. According to a message sent out by the Surrey School County District in North Carolina, but the district said that while we do not believe the threat to be credible, we are closely monitoring the situation. The Department of Homeland Security posted on Twitter Friday that it is aware of public reporting that suggests possible threats to schools on December 17th, 2021. Yet DHS does not have any information indicating any specific credible threats to schools, but recommends communities remain alert. Now, real quick, if what you just heard me say, DHS does not have any information indicating any specific credible threats, if that gives you a warm and fuzzy, you are wrong. Wrong. I'm not saying it has threats, and I'm not saying there aren't threats, but what I am saying is I will never trust the government. I will never trust any arm of the government. So what this means is parents, be on high alert. School faculty, be on high alert. Do not bend the knee to this. Do not sit there and close your doors and call off school. Basically say, if that's the game you want to play, we're going to make it 10 times harder for you to actually do this. So that means we're going to heighten security if we have to. So be it. But life will continue. Life goes on. I can understand why some people are very scared about this. I understand in this age of like school shootings and stuff like that. I get that. I understand it's a very slippery slope. I'm not going to fault a parent if they don't want to send their school today. Their child is. I wouldn't fault you. I understand that. What I'm saying though is that we're on a very slippery slope. That if they can sit there and go to TikTok and create a national viral sensation or sensationalized school shooting, that they're not going to stop there. They're going to use this. Trolls will use this. They will go after everyone they can. That's what's going to happen. So we have to be very careful about not empowering these people creating these false movements or these false flags, I guess you could call it. I don't know. But I'm just saying that don't bend the knee to terrorists. Don't bend the knee to trolls. Don't bend. So speaking of that, I found this really funny. I'm seeing a new girl, and I made a post or I made a story about her, and I tagged her. And she instantly gets these troll messages from this account that I think it's a woman I fucked in my past, I think.
John Burke's a whore.
She said like John Burke's a horrible human being. He treats women like hell. He's just after you for your ass. He just wants some tail. This is what's crazy about it. I think it's a woman. And she even went on as far as to say is like he even takes women out to dinner and doesn't pay the bill. And I'm like,
he's a terrible tipper.
I know. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
He never opens the door for
And this
women.
person also goes after my kids. And I don't talk about my kids anymore because they went after my kids one time. And I was like, nope. I was like, I'm not playing that game. Like, I will kill a motherfucker if they come after my kids. Yeah. I will kill them. I don't care. So she gets this DM. And I'm kind of like, oh, God, here we go. Because I've dated women in the past that I told them, it's like, look, if you're in my life, this is a part of my life. Like, I have trolls that do not like me. They will DM you. They will smear me all into the sun. So she's just kind of like, she's like, we should send her a picture of you and me fucking. I was like, you're going to make such a good mother. And that's just the thing. It's like, I'm not going to bend the knee to these fucking pieces of shit.
Sounds like someone's going to bend the knee.
Oh. No, I really like this girl. Right. Whether it lasts for a week, a month, or the rest of my life, like I'm genuinely happy with her. So I just found that funny that this troll, and I found out who the troll account is. and who's following it. And it's following multiple other female accounts that I have followed in the past. And they DM these women and then smear me. I'm like, what the who has that kind like, and the only reason they know, they look at who I'm following in my numbers. They see who I'm following and they keep a list.
Jeez, man. It's like a full-time job.
Bro, like who has that kind of time? Like, I don't know if there's any other figures out there in the world that deal with this kind of harassment. I'm not changing my patterns. Like, I'm not. I was like, I know who the account is, and they followed my ex is the one that started this kind of bullshit. So that's why I have no sympathy for her, whatever befalls her, because she started this bullshit. But this is just kind of like, dude, like, I think I fucked this guy's mom or maybe his wife. I don't know. I have no clue. I probably should have, though, tell you the truth. I mean, you know, the dick was so good, they're still around, apparently. I mean, gee, I should like pat myself on the back for that one. No, but I'm really impressed because the girl I'm talking to, she was just kind of like, fuck him. I was like, I love that. I love that somebody has enough balls to say, fuck him.
Yeah.
Let's send him a picture of us fucking. He's like, well, you know, that's great. So,
all right, I guess we could start an OnlyFans.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Extra coin.
Oh my God.
Pay for this gasoline.
But that's the point that I'm trying to make, though, is don't bend the knee to these trolls and these people on social media that will pull something like this in order to push an agenda, which I think is rooted in just basically chaos and anarchy. Yeah. Like, I don't know what your goal would be as far as fabricating a school shooting threat, aside of just spinning up authorities, spinning up the local community, creating anger, animosity, hatred, confusion, fear. I think that's the goal. I think these are, honestly, they're like digital terrorists, and they should be treated as such.
What are the chances it's just some like punk kids?
That's hard to say because
playing a prank.
Honestly, I think that's what it is. But if we were to actually come out and say that's what it is and it actually happens, we'd look stupid. Yeah. But the same token, it's kind of like, I don't know. I
remember back in high school, and this was back in like the early 90s, kids would call in bomb threats to the school to get out of a test.
I remember that.
And this was like back when you go to a payphone.
Yep. So. Oh, dude. I forget what
and they would have to like clear the school and make sure everything was okay. And
I remember there was a meme I'd shared or I'd seen somewhere, and it was a rotary phone. And a lot of the people in the comments like, what is that? And I'm like, are you serious? I'm only like, am I 37 or 38? Am I 38?
37.
I'm 37, okay. And I remember, like, bro, like, we grew up, and you're like 10 years older than me. Ish? You're 40, 46?
46.
46. So, like, we grew up, like, back when it was like, I didn't have the rotary phone. I was on the tail end of that. But I had the dial phone, but it was the one to where it's kind of like when you had your girlfriend when you were a little kid and you had to get like the super extension cord so you could take it to your room and talk. Yeah. And then when the internet came out, you had AOL. Sit down, kids. John and Josh could take you back a few 10-year periods.
I used to remember phone numbers back in my day.
I tell you this, back in the day, we didn't have fast loading pornography. We had a JPEG and it took 5 minutes to load.
It was a reel-to-reel porn. Had to put it on the projector.
And you had to wait 5 minutes.
The bushes were like this big.
It's true. It's true. And if anybody picked up the phone in your house, you get kicked off the internet. It's like, son of a bitch. And then you pick up the phone. I remember that.
I asked my kids, I was like, show me how you hold the phone to your ear. And they go like this. Like we used to, like the phone sign. Yeah. They were going to
go like this,
like holding a cell phone.
It's like the brick, though. Remember the old brick? Oh, like how cool we thought we were when we first had our first mobile phone. Yeah, that big brick-looking son of a bitch.
Oh, I had the.
Oh yeah.
I remember a bag of phone.
Night at the Roxbury. Remember that movie when they're like like my mom gave us our cell phones. Like, oh my god. And then we saw the flip phones, and then we thought the Razor was the greatest fucking thing. The
smallest. Where it came out, it was like this big.
Isn't it funny? Like we transitioned from normal size to now the smaller the better, and now the bigger the better.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part about it. That's how technology is. It's crazy how things keep going like that. Oh, before I forget, I saw this. Kyle Rittenhouse apparently is speaking at a Turning Point event. Didn't take them long to get their hooks into him. I saw it, and I was like, I'm going to comment. I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave it alone.
Come on over here.
Turning Point getting their hooks in another kid. I mean, they did it to Kyle Kashoff, and then now he's off doing his own thing. That's what Turning Point does. They're like this big leech of Trump loyalists that basically anybody that's famous out there, they get them under their umbrella, pull them in, get their following, get Turning Point bigger.
Did you watch him on Crowder's?
No.
The Crowder, I didn't either.
No. Honestly, I don't really want to hear what he has to say, to tell you the truth, because when he talked about he destroyed the AR-15 and stuff, okay, you kind of lost me there, bro. I was like, you did a great thing, don't get me wrong, but now when you're talking, I can't agree with some of the stuff you're saying. So good luck to you. Happy trails. Hopefully everything works out for you. But
I think the right.
He's also young, you know.
He's a young kid. I mean, he's not going to come out and start dropping knowledge bombs on everybody.
Well, that's the thing that kind of worries me.
This is what we should do with the taxes.
That's what worries me when he jumps up there with a turning point and the likes of them. That now this child that has been through a traumatic experience is going to start weighing in like he's a subject matter expert.
He's a brave
things.
kid.
Yeah.
He went out there and killed a couple people, which is I'm sure it's hard to live with at this point.
Justify. He seems to be doing fine. No, but then again,
you don't know how it is. Yeah, you don't know how it is when he goes home and he's alone. I mean, that's got to be. I mean, plus he was in jail, I guess, for
14 months.
Right. So I mean, that's got to.
My biggest question is like
a mind f.
If he was in jail for 14 months and then was found innocent,
does he get paid?
Yeah. Does he get paid for that? Did they reimburse him for anything?
I'm not
that's
sure.
Almost like that. Well, I mean, it's not false imprisonment.
Because I know if you're in jail and you're proven innocent later on down the road,
they pay you.
They pay you out for your time that you're in. I mean, it's obviously not enough, but I've been watching that one. God, what was that one murder show? That guy that I would ask my wife about. I can't remember the name of it, but we were watching it last night. And this old guy's been in jail for like 49 years. He's like, I didn't kill these people. And their evidence has come out that looks like he probably didn't kill these people. I'm like, Jesus, man, can you imagine being in jail for 50 years for something that you didn't?
I think that's why a lot of people oppose the death penalty for situations
that's what they said.
Just like that.
They went and interviewed one of the jurors, and she said, well, that's why we didn't give him the electric chairs, because if we could go back and do the trial again now, we would...
There's a lot of old cases they're reopening due to like DNA and
it turns out it was some shitty cops who set him up.
That never happens.
It's like Jesus, man. This guy's in there on camera, like
was
crying.
It making a murderer?
I don't think it was. It wasn't making a murderer.
Some people are saying serial.
I think serial. I think that might have been it. I forget what it was on. My wife was watching it last night. I watches these murder shows as we go to bed.
I think that's all women. I think all women love that.
Murder show. I'm going to watch a murder show. I'm like, Jesus.
This just in, CNN has fallen on some really, really hard times. Not only did they lose Chris Cuomo, Fredo himself, who is, besieged with sexual assault accusations and stuff like that, just like his disgraced brother Andrew. But now, CNN producer accused of coaxing parents, underage girls into sexual training. This is a real story. This is from NBC News. I love seeing them turn on each other. I can't wait to see more of these leftist news agencies like turn on each other. That they were once united on a digital front to go after Trump. Now they're going to start turning on each other. CNN producer accused of coaxing parents, underage girls into sexual training. John Griffin was charged with 3 counts of using facility of interstate commerce to lure minors and their mothers to his Vermont home. CNN producer John Griffith was arrested by the FBI on Friday after a federal grand jury charged him with enticing minors to engage in unlawful sexual activity at his Vermont property. Griffin, 44, of Stamford, Connecticut, was charged with 3 counts of using a facility of interstate commerce to lure minors and people claiming to be their parents to train them to be sexually subservient, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Vermont said in a statement. Court documents did not list an attorney for Griffin, who has worked at CNN for about 8 years, according to a story posted by the network. The charges against Mr. Griffin are deeply disturbing. We only learned of this arrest yesterday afternoon and have suspended him pending investigation, CNN said in a statement. According to his LinkedIn profile, Griffin said he worked shoulder to shoulder with ex-CNN anchor Chris Cuomo. And the plot thickens, ladies and gentlemen. The plot thickens. If you think this is like as deep as it gets, I guarantee there is so much underbelly of decay, depravity, and immorality that is still going to be surfaced. Like, it would not surprise me if Chris Cuomo has, like, pedophile charges levied. I could honestly see it. I could honestly see this.
Chris Henson has now entered the chat.
We need to bring Chris Henson back. The charges against Mr. Griffin, according to his LinkedIn profile, Griffin said he worked shoulder to shoulder with ex-CNN anchor Chris Cuomo, who was fired earlier this month after an investigation by the New York Attorney General showed how he helped his brother, the former New York governor, defend himself against sexual misconduct allegations. Words in those or names in those circles spread, so I could easily see this guy also working, possibly doing favors for Andrew Cuomo. You just don't know. You just don't know. But there are these people, and that's how the whole Epstein thing came about, because it was by word of mouth. You're so powerful, you're so rich, you think you're untouchable. Mm-hmm. Bro, when the press gets a hold of it, you're done. Like, court of public opinion can be used for good sometimes, in a sense of if it's found to be true, you are done. But it's got to be serious, because if it's not serious, like, Senator Karen, we're appropriating culture, well, they just don't care about that. But Griffith used messaging apps Kik and Google Hangouts to communicate with parents of underage girls and convince them to allow him to train their daughters to be subservient to men because they are inferior. The federal indictment said he believed that a woman is a woman regardless of her age. What the fuck? Dude, I'm telling you.
Do you think
take him to court?
Epstein's Island?
Yeah, I think so.
Probably.
Well, so here's the thing. Just because somebody else is a pedophile as well does not mean they were linked to Epstein. Epstein's certainly not the freaking hierarchy of pedophilia. Like, he was just a pedophile. Like,
I don't know. He kind of seems like the pinnacle of pedophiles.
No, because
he had his own island.
Think about this, though.
A couple of compounds.
The pinnacle is not going to be known. You would never be known.
Well, this guy, what was really known
what
about
I'm saying
Jeffrey
is,
Epstein,
I think there's a front. I think there's somebody bigger in the back pulling the strings that will never be known.
Yeah, I think it's his customers.
No, I think it's somebody. I think it's not.
Because
just
you have what?
Well, yeah. You're his customers. I can see that.
Prince Andrew, obviously.
Yeah. I just think that if
has been outed.
Think about this: like, if you're the financial source, or you are backing this, or you somehow created this, then you need to ensure that you stay anonymous no matter what. So if your ring falls, you don't go down with it. There's got to be some separation, degrees of separation. Like, any kind of drug dealer will tell you that. Like, your high up fucking dudes over in Colombia, places like that, you're not gonna know who these guys are. Not like the famous ones, you'll know. But I think something like this, I don't think we've seen. Like, here's the thing: it could even be Obama for all we know. That's what I'm saying. Like,
oh my God,
I don't think the person that's actually doing a lot of the stuff, or at least has control over a lot of the stuff, or the big players, are known. I don't think so, and that's what kind of scares me. Is like, I think it's someone in plain sight, but we just don't know who they are.
Did you ever see that video of Larry Sinclair? I think I've asked you before. Larry Sinclair, he was talking about he went to Chicago and he went to this limo company, and he gave his testimony in front of Congress, I think. And he started talking about, he asked the limo driver, and he said the guy's name, I can't remember what it was. But he was like, where can I find a good time? And he called Obama, and he's like, the limo went and picked up Obama.
Oh, yeah.
And
I remember hearing that story. I think you told it to me, too.
Yeah, he was like, he went out, they got some cocaine, he smoked some crack, he gave Obama oral sex in the back of this limousine. And I'm like, what the?
I mean,
and I think the guy died in a car accident a week later. Look it up, Larry Sinclair.
I mean, in this day and age, though, we have to be careful with that, because there are people.
This was back.
No, I know, but there's gonna be vindictive people that are gonna say what they think the world wants to hear. That's why it has to be proven. I get it.
It could.
Yeah.
I mean, but
I wouldn't say.
It's a little suspect that that he died like a week later after he gave that testimony.
True. Yeah, true. I agree.
So it's a lot of cloak and dagger stuff going on.
In June 2020, Griffin texted with the mother of two girls, ages 9 and 13, telling the mother that it was her responsibility to ensure the elder girl was trained properly, according to the indictment. Griffin transferred $3,000 to the mother for plane tickets from Nevada to Boston in July 2020. The woman and her 9-year-old daughter flew to Boston, where they met Griffin and drove to his Vermont home. There, the girl was directed to engage in and did engage in illegal sexual activity, according to the indictment. Griffith faces a mandatory minimum sentence of 10 years imprisonment and up to life in prison for each charge if convicted. Federal officials say, look, I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. If you are found guilty of pedophilia, you should be executed.
Yeah.
We need to go stop going, like, you should be executed. I don't understand why anybody feels that this could be somebody that is rehabilitated. When you literally violate the rights, especially sexually, of a minor, a child, there should be no, we can rehabilitate. No, you kill him. You rid society of that scum, and that's where our society has gone wrong. These people commit these atrocious acts, and the mother as well should be locked up for life. Yeah. Like, these parents should serve, should be put away, if not executed themselves. You just prostituted your children to this disgusting. I can't. Bro. I remember my ex. Don't talk to me about it. I remember she would sometimes. She wouldn't go into details, but she would talk about some of the things that they had to deal with at work, as far as like what these pedophiles were doing, as far as getting in contact with these children. And dude, I'm telling you, Snapchat, TikTok, all these apps, like, they know how to use and know how to groom people. And that's the crazy part about it. So you parents that you have your children with cell phones, you better watch that shit. I'm telling you, you would better watch I'll be honest, until your kid hits freaking like the age to where they're going out and you want to have contact with them, they shouldn't have a cell phone. Yeah. The internet is a very, very, very dangerous place. Insanely dangerous place. And that's what you have to be careful of, ladies and gentlemen, because, there's a lot of good people out there, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of predators, and they're watching. They know how to manipulate the system. They do. This is what they do. So you got to be careful with that.
some of these people are very well off.
Oh, fuck yeah. Because they can afford to be.
Yeah, they can afford to be these giant perverts.
Oh, 100%. Because they think they're untouchable. So their vanity is what basically leads to their fall.
Right.
You know, these high-end people, like, they're just getting caught. It's like, well, there you go. Like, I think just like the whole case of why San Francisco's dealing with these trunk robberies or these vehicle robberies and break-ins, because they've gone soft on crime. It's the same thing with pedophiles. Stop being soft on this. Execute them. Yeah. Just take them out behind a wall and put a 45 in their head. That's all. Done.
Should be a minimum of life.
Or another thing, you put them in hard time. Like if we have stuff like road work that needs to get done, guess what you're doing for the rest of your life? You're working on that road.
Or drop them off at Pedophile Island. Turn it into an Alcatraz.
Now that'd be cool. And then make that reality TV. That would be cool. Think about it, Pedophile Island. Who's going to survive this round? Here we have freaking Xavier, who has 3 different genders, and we have Bob from the trailer park back in deep Kansas. And, well, guess what, guys? There's only one blunted machete. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Next on Pedophile Island.
I think we just came up with something.
I think we did.
I think we just captured lightning in a bottle, my friend.
We had politicians fighting, and now we have Pedophile Island.
Pedophile Island.
Pedophile Island. I think this could be huge, and we could take the money that we make from that and like reinvest it back in like great programs to help like rehabilitate the victims. So that way, like their deaths are kind of like fixing what they fucked up in a sense.
I think that's fair.
That's a damn good. That's president right here.
Add Josh it onto the list.
Make Josh and I president, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. We're running. We're gonna do it. We'll put it on fucking pay-per-view. We'll get Logan Paul involved. We'll get
Fauci. Pedophile Island.
We will get every social media influencer that you fucking hate involved to promote this shit. Like Logan Paul's clout chasing. Hey, Logan Paul. He's not a pedophile, but we'll drop him on the island for 2 weeks to see if he survives, and then he'll get like 50 million or something. I don't know. We'll hype the fuck out. We'll get Conor McGregor out there.
He would do it.
Pedophile fights Conor McGregor. Let's just see what happens. It'd be great. It'd be fucking great.
These guys are
all
juiced up. They're ready to fight.
Oh my god.
So
you gotta love it. You gotta fucking love it. This is where we're at in this. I mean, it'd be a great.
The Cuomos.
Oh my god. That's where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. That's where we're at. Oh my god. I think we'd make so much fucking money off of that. I really do.
See the wheels turning over there.
It makes me
the
want
cogs
to.
in motion.
Yeah, I don't know. It makes me.
Maybe you could have Chris Hansen hosting it.
What happened to him?
He got busted for pedophilia.
No. Oh, so I was like, no, he didn't.
It'd be ironic.
No, he didn't.
No, he did not.
But I know he was doing a YouTube. So, do you remember the YouTuber Onision?
No.
So this guy was like an Air Force veteran. I think he got dishonorably discharged because he was like a conscientious objector, which, you know, he's in the Air Force. It's not like you're actually dropping bombs or anything, buddy. But I know Onision, huge YouTuber. He did that one video of like, I'm a banana, and it went viral and some other shit. And he did a lot of anti-military stuff. And this guy was just like, you could tell this guy was bonkers. But apparently he was also trying to groom an underage girl. And I think Chris Hansen busted him on YouTube.
Oh, is that right?
I think Chris Hansen is still I think the people in the chat are also saying Chris Hansen's still doing things on YouTube. So I think he's still doing this, but I think he busted Onision. And Onision did a counter video, tried to justify himself. I was trying to look at this up, but I don't know.
I think that was on NBC, right?
His show?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think so.
I think it was.
Chris Hansen, but I don't know why they freaking got rid of him. Way. Everybody loves seeing these pieces of shit get fucking caught.
I know, but nobody likes NBC. Nobody likes these networks anymore.
That's true.
Everybody hates the media.
Mm-hmm. And justifiably so.
Yeah, I mean, they did it to themselves.
People are saying someone killed themselves, got in trouble with the producers, unpaid bills, bad checks. That
whole thing was pretty crazy, though.
It is. I don't know if someone was. I don't know. That's weird. But yeah, Pedophile Island. We should make it a thing. We should.
We can do that.
Another report from Breitbart says CNN producer interacted with children during investigation of sex abuse allegations. A man in Connecticut was shocked that a former CNN producer, John Griffin, reportedly interacted with children while officials investigated him for 17 months for the alleged abuse of a 9-year-old girl, according to Fox News. The resident, who apparently knows Griffin's family members, said the 44-year-old Griffin and his 46-year-old wife, Allison, have 3 children and through sleepovers and pool parties at their $4 million property in Wilson Point, Connecticut. I think this is a picture of him. Now, look, I'm going to be real with you. He looks like a normal dude. You know, pedophiles are not going to look alike. There are people that have a look to him. It's like, I don't know. This dude looks like a normal dude. You never know.
CNN hat.
Except for the CNN hat.
That's like that guy's a douchebag.
Yep, 100%. But you look at this guy. Yeah, but... And I know that's judging a book by a cover. I know that sounds horrible, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The resident who apparently knows Griffiths. The Griffins have young children, and those young children have friends, he claimed. I know someone who was friends with their daughter and went to a pool party at their house last summer, he said, as Griffith was there. This is a picture of John Griffith being held up by Chris Cuomo. Chris Cuomo says he can get me blessed by Pope Francis thanks to my giant baby head. Let's try it, shall we? Griffith and his wife reportedly separated last year, but were working on their marriage over the past summer, according to sources who spoke with Fox News. The man claimed it was known in the community Griffin was a heavy drinker and was believed to have been to rehab. He was charged in Vermont in October 2020 for driving under the influence and smashing his vehicle into another car, Fox reported said. Griffith was taken into custody on December 10th regarding a federal indictment from Vermont for allegedly soliciting 3 moms and their minor daughters for instruction in fetish sex. Another tweet from Floyd Yarmouth says, at the live location, Chris Cuomo and producer Jay Griffin, New York, getting ready for a new day in Paris, CNN, France attacks. This is where they're at right there. U.S. Attorney Office District of Vermont detailed the case in a recent press release that read in part, in June of 2020, Griffith advised that a mother of 9 and 13-year-old daughters, okay, we already read this part. We already went over. So again, this is just more accusations being levied against this guy. Just wow. I can't believe this shit, dude. I can't believe this shit. Yeah. I hope this guy gets the chair. I hope they execute this piece of shit.
I hope he gets a lifelong...
He has children himself. And that makes me wonder. I wonder if he abused them.
You never know, man.
No, you don't. And that's why it's like, I wonder if he sexually abused them.
No, he belongs in prison with inmates that will take care of him.
He belongs 6 feet under. Like, we gotta stop playing games with these pieces of shit. Like, we really do. I think we've gone way too soft on crime, way too soft on this shit. Like, there's a reason these guys are not afraid to do this anymore. There's a reason these smash and grabs people are not afraid to do this, because they know cops are going to go easy. They won't chase. It's not a felony anymore, so what's the big deal? And that's the problem. And that's why business owners, like we talked about before, close up shop and deuces, I'm out. Like, I can't even afford to run a business here.
Yeah,
bye.
Move it to Texas. Move it to Florida.
Let California sink. I mean,
North
if that's
Dakota.
the way you want to go, yeah. Moving on, we've got China mocks NFL for kowtowing when Chinese people don't even like football. This is actually kind of funny. Like, the NFL is just going off the rail with stupidity wokeism. That's the problem. Falsely labeling the country of Taiwan as part of China will do little to improve the National Football League's NFL financial prospects in the communist country, state propaganda newspaper Global Times declared on Friday. The Times was responding to a controversy erupting this week when the NFL announced a series of international partnerships meant to promote the popularity of American football. While football remains America's most popular sport at home, it has made no significant progress in constructing a global fan base. And, to that end, the NFL announced it had designated special markets for its teams to generate energy behind them. In the announcement, the NFL published a map showing that it assigned the Los Angeles Rams the entire nation of China as its international home marketing area. The map of China, highlighted in red to show it as part of the program, incorrectly included the island of Taiwan. The inclusion was particularly erroneous in light of exclusions of legitimate offshore territories or of other countries, most prominently Spain. And the tweet's still up, apparently. This is tweeted out December 15th. Taiwan is a sovereign nation. The island has never been ruled by a government operating out of Beijing in its history. The Chinese Communist Party falsely claims, however, that the country is a province of China and that its democratically elected federal government is a secessionist movement. Dictator Xi Jinping and his henchmen regularly threaten a violent invasion of the island to reunite it with a country it has never been a part of. The Global Times applauded the NFL for promoting China's preferred falsehood, but laughed off any attempt at encouraging Chinese people to follow American football. The NFL has made some friendly gestures towards China in recent years. In 2020, Chinese player Ling Bego, probably mispronounced that, was included into the list of NFL's 2020 International Player Pathway Program. The Global Times narrated in April of 2020, 1.2 million N95 masks were transported on the New England Patriots team plane from South China's Shenzhen to New York State. Yeah, that's exactly what I want. A mask made in China from the same country that released the virus. Yeah. An anonymous sports commentator allegedly went as far to tell the Global Times that the NFL may as well oppose China's false stance on Taiwan as Americans are increasingly passionate about rejecting Chinese regime bullying. This was a stupid move on the NFL's part. Why the fuck? Like, look, when it comes to economics, I understand that with China. I get it. Like, you know, back and forth, give and take. I get that. There are things that we should look into as far as revenge. And Trump did a damn good job at that.
Yeah.
But as far as trying to make good with China, guys, they do not like us. Their government, I should say their government, does not like us. They hate us.
No, I think a president with balls would say, hey, listen, we know that you released this virus from your...
Yeah, 100%.
We know it came from China.
Trump even said it, and they demonized it.
So this is what we're going to do. Everything that we owe you, we're writing it off.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
You cost the world millions of lives, supposedly.
Yeah. Just change the world.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Like,
I mean, it's with us forever now. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
like, they released this. This is something we have to deal with now. But at the same token, though,
we do have to acknowledge the fact that we paid them to do it. Fauci paid him to do it.
That guy belongs in prison,
He does. We are partially responsible. Our government, I should say our government, let me be more specific. Our government, elected officials, should be put in prison for this.
Yeah.
The fact that we paid China $600,000 to research the communicability of COVID variants, like, bro, like, we're guilty. Like, we are guilty of this.
That's
it's
a biological weapon.
Yeah. But again, at the same token, though, and here's the fucked up part, though, because we know all countries, or most countries, are experimenting with biological weapons. We have to. That's how you stay on the cutting edge of warfare, technology, or stuff like that. It's now we've went from bombs out of the sky from millions of miles away to biological warfare, which is 10 times more effective. 10 times more, because you can't stop it.
Obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. So it's just, I don't know, man.
I
think anybody reaching out to China at this point, you've got to be careful with that.
I think if it's a Ron DeSantis or a Donald Trump, they're talking to China and they're making a deal. They're saying, okay, listen, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah, they're setting the terms of it. But at the same token, how can you negotiate with a country that you paid them to do this experimentation on? That's the other part. Like, I don't know, man.
I mean, I feel like there's probably some negotiation room that could be happening there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, true.
So I just, Fauci's a scumbag.
He is. This comes to us from MSN.com, articles from Salon saying, I didn't want to be complicit in so many lies. Fox News contributor explains why he finally quit. Again, I like reading these stories. I like to see what's on the other side of the spectrum. Excuse me. So here we go. A former longtime Fox News contributor, Jonah Goldberg, opened up on Tuesday about why he left the channel last month, claiming that he could no longer be complicit in so many lies. Goldberg's resignation was announced back in November alongside Steve Hayes, former editor-in-chief of the Weekly Standard. Fox News still does real reporting, and there are still reasonable conservatives providing valuable opinion and analysis, the duo wrote at the time, but the voices of the responsible are being drowned out by the irresponsible. Goldberg and Hayes originally cited host Tucker Carlson's controversial documentary Patriot Purge, which explores the Capitol riot through the lens of unproven right-wing conspiracy theories, as the singular breaking point for their careers with the channel. But on Tuesday, in a sharply penned essay in the Dispatch, Goldberg condemned the channel's lies more broadly, saying that he'd actually exercised a good deal of restraint since news broke that I left Fox. And that's basically... Let me continue reading. I know that a huge share of people you saw on TV praising Trump were being dishonest, Goldberg wrote. I don't merely suspect it, I know it because they say one thing to my face or in my presence and another thing when the cameras and microphones were flipped on. Goldberg also criticized the channel's coverage of the January 6th panel's findings with respect to Mark Meadows, Donald Trump's White House chief of staff. This week, the panel unearthed texts sent by 3 Fox News hosts, including Laura Ingraham, to Meadows asking the Trump aide to have the former president call off the Capitol riot as it was unfolding. Though Ingraham publicly condemned the riot, Goldberg wrote she couldn't bear to admit that it was incited by Trump, which her texts indicated. That doesn't indicate that. People can call on Trump and say, hey, stop the riot, meaning say something, tell them to stop. They were actually, I remember when this happened, they were telling him to do that. It's like, tell Trump to tell them to stop. And Trump did. Trump did stop. That doesn't mean Trump incited it. That doesn't mean Trump called for it.
He didn't start it at all.
He did. We watched it. Watched the whole, like, I don't know how we live in this world now.
It was the Tucker Carlson video that he just, did you see that?
No, I haven't watched that one yet.
Where there's a guy wearing a MAGA hat saying, let's go into the Capitol.
Yeah.
We're all going to the Capitol. I mean, and then there's a group of people around him that start calling him a Fed. It's like they weren't.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love
that.
You
should watch it.
Feds.
Yeah.
No, but I can't.
Because they knew it was a trap. Like, most of the people there knew it was a trap.
I don't understand how somebody could sit there and say, like, if Laura Ingraham texts an aide to Trump saying, tell him to call off this riot, I could see how you could you make the implication of he turned on the riot, but he didn't. We watched it. No, Trump didn't say anything. He said, go down there, exercise your First Amendment right, which they were legal.
Well, we're going to march down there peacefully.
Yes.
And protest.
And that is your right. And Trump was well within his rights to say that.
Okay, and then you have Democrats over the past
And conservatives.
For
Crenshaw
years.
believed it was his, and I disagree with Crenshaw on that one.
Well, no, they were inciting violence.
Yeah.
Maxine Waters telling, if you see him at a gasoline
Push
station,
back, harass
them.
Yeah. But nothing happens to them.
No.
They don't say a word about it. But Trump says go down there peacefully.
Yeah.
That's inciting a riot. But this is what Democrats do, though. They fabricate a narrative and they stick to it, even if it's the biggest lie. You get enough people believing in that lie, it's going to become a truth to them.
That douchebag Chris Cuomo is like,
yeah.
Where does it say that protest has to be peaceful? You remember him saying that?
No.
He said that.
Doesn't surprise me, though.
And then you had the one dude that was eating the ramen noodles. It was like, it's right there in the Constitution, Chris. Peacefully protest.
Oh, my God.
I mean, but that's what they were doing.
Cuomo's
Like
an idiot, though.
all of the legacy media, they were out there saying, "Oh, I can't believe there hasn't been more rioting or more protest or uprising."
Yeah, which I think was him
through his
subtly
entire
calling
presidency.
Yeah.
That's what was going on.
Yeah.
So all these Antifa thugs taking over cities, burning down businesses.
Yep.
That was all
Yeah.
inspired by legacy media, the Democrats.
Oh, I agree.
So
Because
when Trump
again-
came out and said peacefully protest,
Yep.
if you take anything other than peacefully,
All these Democrats condemn what happened on January 6th, but the BLM riots they say nothing about. That caused way more damage.
Yeah.
Way more damage.
billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Destroyed
but hey, insurance
business-
companies can pay for that. Yeah, as premiums go up through the fucking roof and the bankruptcies businesses
know.
can't afford it anymore.
Okay.
Makes no sense.
What about the people that work there that
Yeah.
relied on that paycheck? Mm-hmm. What are they going to do?
Fuck that. They don't give a shit about it. That's why Democrats don't care about stuff like that.
Scumbags.
I think Goldberg's a little off the money on this one. What she didn't say is that the mob's passions boiled over because Donald Trump's lies and the megaphone she and her colleagues gave to those lies, Goldberg wrote. From her text, it's reasonable to assume that she believed rightly that this mob was Trump's to command because the mob believed it was doing Trump's bidding. Okay, now that I can kind of partially agree with because Trump said it. They were in agreement with Trump. They wanted Trump to be president. They went down to their protest, but at no point did Trump. Here's the way my mind thinks. Unless they physically say it, then you can't accuse them of it. Now, if you're passive aggressively trying to hint towards it, then you might have a slippery slope with some grounds, but Trump never did that.
No.
And again, I think I proved myself enough to where I'm not a Trump loyalist. And I remember we watched that speech. We Twitch streamed it live when it happened. And I remember when it happens, like Trump did not call for this. Trump tweeted out. And then remember this? Remember when Twitter banned him when he was doing that?
Yeah.
And they pulled some of his tweets down? Trump was tweeting, telling him to stop. He even did a video.
Yeah.
Is it stop it?
Yeah,
Go
that's what he
home,
did.
folks. And they banned him.
They took the video off.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Funny how that works. The
Scumbags.
They didn't want Trump.
Those people are total scumbags.
I know, I love this, that basically they were talking about how Trump was calling for it, but then Trump makes these posts calling against it and they ban him for it because they knew they were trying to set the tone to accuse Trump of going after and inciting, and he didn't do that. I don't know.
It just goes to show you that, Fox News is a house for some scumbags too. I think they got some good people over there, but
I think journalism is dead.
It is.
I think it's
I do
honestly
too.
dead because
I don't even watch Fox News
Yeah.
anymore. I'll see clips sometimes of Tucker's show, but that's about it.
Yeah.
He seems to be the most.
I take everybody with a grain of salt these days.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the more famous they become, the bigger they get, then they are more beholden
to a paycheck.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's why we'll totally make this about us. That's why we're not. That's why we can say whatever the fuck we want, whatever we believe. We're beholden to nobody, and that's where I feel like you're always going to have that truth, kind of like where you have no regulation, no loyalty to anything except the truth and the Constitution. You'll stay committed to that, and that's why people are like, oh, you should run. It's like I don't want to run.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
There's just no filter here.
Exactly.
We do whatever.
We do whatever. I'm scratching my balls right now. I don't know.
I'm so hungry.
Oh my God. Is it true though? Because I feel like when you get so big, it's we talked about it the other day when we talked about why the adpocalypse happened, because there's a lot of people that are beholden to these ad sponsors. And that's why I think we're doing it right. And I know I don't agree with a lot of what he says, but Alex Jones is also doing it right. Like you have your own product, your own company, you sponsor your own show, and people are going to support you based upon what they feel is right. People support Shell Shock because the stuff actually works wonderfully, but a lot of people support it because they believe what we say. Like, we're not going to lie to people about this stuff, and that's why it's been incredibly successful.
Yeah.
But when you have, you bring in these ad sponsors, it's like, say for example, we brought in a big gun company to be a sponsor of the podcast. And then we said something that was anti-Trump. A lot of them like, well, wait, we like Trump. It's like, no, the truth is the truth. And so a lot of people will pull their ad money. Therefore, it skews the perspective or what they're going to say. So I'm not sure about Tucker. I'm not sure about Crowder. I don't know about a lot of these people. I don't watch them, honestly, but I know there's a lot of people in the journalist side of the house that they are beholden to the sponsors. They have to stay in line with their sponsors' beliefs are. And that's not where the truth is. That's not where the Constitution is. And I disagree with that. I don't like that. So
for me, it's you've got to produce the receipts.
Yeah.
You know, whatever you're talking about,
Yeah,
you've got to
true.
have, if you're going to be talking about something, then you got to be able to have the paperwork to back it up. So, I mean, most of the time, it's pretty easy to go out and research yourself. You know, if you say, these people said this, this, and this, you could go back and see a montage of all the Democrats talking about burning down cities and peaceful protests when it's city's on fire.
Yeah.
It's,
that's where we're at. Okay, so moving on to this one. Biden administration encourages doctors to implement anti-racism plans by offering bonuses. Hey guys, we should stop being racist by offering bonuses to people to not be racist. That's like paying criminals not to commit crimes. I like ice cream. Oh, man.
We're going to pay everybody in meatballs.
End quote. This is where we're at. This is where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. We have to pay people not to be racist. What the fuck? President Joe Biden's administration will encourage doctors to create and implement an anti-racism plan by offering bonuses under the new U.S. Department of Health and Human Services rules. Effective January 1st, Medicare doctors can boost their reimbursement rates by conducting clinic-wide review of their practices' commitment to anti-racism. Oh my fuck, would you get off of this soapbox? You Democrats are so adamant about combating racism where it doesn't even exist. What are you talking about? Like, sincerely. This is all just virtue signaling for the sake of being a good person. That's all they're doing. What the fuck? It's like they talk about it enough and they're going to create it. Like, they want racism to exist so they have something to combat. So it's like by them doing that, they inadvertently support racism.
Oh, you mean like a playground that's shut down for
weird
people of color?
Maybe we should incentivize teachers' unions to get involved by offering them bonuses to combat racism, including segregation of minorities or whites from minority-based playground. That's ridiculous. HHS justified the rule because it is important to acknowledge systemic racism as a root cause for differences in health outcomes between socially defined racial groups. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. This move is the latest in Biden's embrace of critical race theory and other related. I'm so tired of minorities trying to dictate how the rest of us live our fucking lives based upon the fact that you think you're a victim as a result of your own shitty upbringing and your own shitty outcome of the decisions that you made. I'm sorry. I feel nothing for you. Economically, we can have that discussion, but this is just outrightly fucking ridiculous. Are you seriously sitting there telling me doctors are racists? Are you like, I do remember seeing the video where
maybe if your name is Fauci.
Or where the white dude is going in there to get a fucking whatever, like a
monoclonal
shot,
antibodies,
whatever it is, and the black nurse is like, "Oh yeah, we can't serve you because you don't fit the criteria." It's like, "What?" You say, "Because you're white." It's like, "Are you serious?" Like, yeah, statistically speaking, you have a better chance of surviving this than somebody from a minority community. It's like, "Are you fucking serious?" Like, really?
Sorry.
Yeah. You're white. Sorry. This is ridiculous. Like, this is racism because if that was a black person that a white nurse did that to, BLM would be marching and burning shit down.
Oh, you know it.
This is ridiculous.
Every Nike store would be smashed.
Oh, they love them some Nike. Love them some Nike. This move is just the latest in Biden's embrace of critical race theory, yada, yada, yada. The HHS rules modify Medicare's merit-based incentive payment system. I love this. They even say it in the title. Merit-based incentive payment. Do what the government wants you to do. Be a good little sheep, and we'll incentivize you. You do realize I'd probably make we would make way more than the government could ever fucking offer us in subsidiary payments or fucking good behavior. We'd make way more if the government got the hell out of our lives and our business.
Yep.
So the government offering us these good behavior little fiscal treats. No, I don't want it. I don't want it.
I know.
Instead, let us fucking run our business and stop taxing the hell out of us. Like, it is true. Government does not like small business. This ain't just Biden. This is everything.
You know what happens when the government gets out of the way? People make airplanes and change the world.
It's true. It's true.
That's what happens.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
You get out of the way, and what's his face makes a Tesla.
Yeah, and then shoots it to space because why not? He fucking can.
And then humiliates Warren.
You should have put Biden on it, and here you got Biden putting a mask on, covering his eyes. The highest possible bonus a doctor. Oh my God, here we go.
I'm going to sleep now.
The highest possible bonus a doctor can receive is reportedly 1.79% of their medical or Medicare reimbursements. In addition to anti-racism plans, doctors may boost their reimbursements by implementing a trauma-informed care approach to clinical practice. This approach must seek to avoid re-traumatizing or triggering past trauma patients, including multi-generational trauma, whereby experiences that traumatize elderly or earlier generations, such as the genocide of Native Americans. I'm done with this. I can't even finish reading this. This is the most retarded shit I've ever fucking read in my life.
Garbage.
Oh my God.
Garbage.
You're there to get treated. Okay, I don't give a fuck if your ancestors were forced off a land and murdered. I don't give a shit. We all had some kind of traumatic appearance in a past, and get the fuck over yourselves. You're not a victim, and nobody gives a fuck about your problems. This is stupid. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. Try not to re-traumatize somebody of Native American. Dude, I'm like, I forget, like a 16th Seminole. Like, do I have to go into a hospital now, worried that a doctor is going to trigger my generational poverty from, like, you know, hey, do you have a whiskey addiction, Mr. Burke? Oh, I'm triggered! What? What are you talking about? This is so ridiculous. Like, we are looking for ways to make ourselves victims. We are looking for ways to make ourselves appear as if we are oppressed, because that is the badge of honor these days. This is where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. It's not the haves and have-nots. It's the haves that work for it and the willful, lazy have-nots. That's what it is now. We don't need communism. We need less government.
Yep.
This is ridiculous. This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my entire. I can't even finish reading this crap. It's just it's insanity.
It's total crap.
I'm over it. You know, I hate to say it, but this all feels like the byproduct of capitalism. No, this is. Hold on. No, wait a minute. This is actually government interventionism. This is the exact opposite of capitalism. When you have more government oversight and regulation and them trying to incentivize the people through more subsidy plans, it does the exact wrong thing. So that's not capitalism. Yeah. We have a large government problem. You have the capitalistic system that spawned from mercantilism that actually works. But what you have now is corporatism, that government is getting involved in inflating costs by spending more tax revenue or tax money to incentivize these people to do what the government wants them to do. That's not capitalism. That's corporatism at the hands of the government. That's why Medicare went so, or that's why medical coverage went so much, and insurance companies went through the fucking roof. That's why academia is so goddamn expensive. When government gets it, like Milton Friedman talked about, he said, you do not judge the merit of a government program based upon what it said it would do, but by the outcome. And based upon outcomes, as we've seen reflected in medical and academia, these programs have failed. They have failed, and it needs to go away. I understand. I get it, why a lot of these programs come into creation, because they want to do good through incentivizing, you know, those that come from a lower economic poverty rate to educate and then hopefully rise up into the middle class. But they're doing the exact opposite, because essentially corporate businesses get greedy and they inflate costs. That's what happens. So there needs to be another way to try and incentivize those lower poverty rates. And I think that the answer to that is in community. Let community dictate. You know,
capitalism works.
It does.
Government doesn't.
100%.
Government doesn't produce anything.
100%. And that's why we cannot blame a capitalistic system when it's the government's fault for fucking it up. That's not capitalism's fault.
It's capitalism that made America the greatest country in the world.
There are still many countries around the world that still embrace capitalism. They have socialist. I mean, we have the same thing. We have a bedrock capitalistic system. Again, it's crony capitalism because the government. But we do have socialist programs sprinkled on top, which I don't agree with. Example,
I would get rid of every
social security needs to go the fuck away. Go the fuck away. Let me keep my money and invest as I see fit. It's not the government's responsibility.
We're never going to see our Social Security.
Oh, God, no. Well, no. They're saying by the time we retire, we'll get 74% back of what we paid in.
I doubt it. Yeah. I don't believe it one single. They're talking about trillions of dollars in their new bill.
Oh, yeah.
All right, and
stalled. Yeah.
They've collected more taxes this year than ever before.
Bro, you keep hitting on this point.
I'm telling you,
you're
dude.
pissed the fuck off about it. And justifiably so.
Because they don't know how to budget.
Yeah.
They don't. I mean, they're spending money on themselves. When you have Nancy Pelosi taking her entire family over to Italy on the government's dime, that's a problem.
Yeah,
that's an issue. Like, why aren't more people talking about? Why aren't people in government talking about this?
Because they don't care.
They don't care, and they're a part of it.
Power.
Yeah, they don't want to relinquish power. You know, we keep paying these people more and more money.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just we'd be better off just throwing it in the fireplace and keeping warm with it.
It's true.
We'd be better served doing something like that because these people
really
are total corrupt scumbags.
I agree. That's why I know, like we said before, like when you get involved in this kind of this arena, like it almost seems like if you're a good person that goes into the political spectrum, eventually you're going to be corrupted. Eventually you're going to have to,
They get their fingers in everything. How are all these people millionaires?
It's all based around money.
Yeah.
It's all based around money. And I can't agree with a lot of the stuff that goes on. Like, it's just, you have to be loyal to your donors, shit like that. So if you come up on your own, yeah. There's so much corruption there.
So much corruption.
There's so much corruption.
This government needs to be stripped down to the bare bones.
I agree.
Every social program needs to be cut.
It's not
Everything
needs
to be. Yeah,
it's not the government's role.
It's been bastardized.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that does it here for us at the All American Savage Show podcast with my host, Josh. We appreciate you tuning in today and listening and sharing the podcast. Hey, if you want to support the show, give the podcast a share. We appreciate if you learned something, if you laugh, if you gained anything from this, hour and some change of us going back and forth on these various policies that affect us in some way, shape, or form. Give the podcast a share. Tell your friends about it. Give us a good rating on iTunes. It really helps us bump up the numbers. We greatly appreciate your love and support. Also, make sure you check us out at shellshockcbd.com. Again, we've just launched the hemp teas, THC-free, 25 milligrams of CBD in each bag. So if you know somebody in your life that's really stressed the hell out, give them a nice little soft tea bag. That'll calm them right the fuck down. We greatly appreciate your love and support, guys. Sincerely. And again, make sure you follow the new Shell Shock page on Instagram at Shell Shock CBD with the number 1. Shell Shock CBD 1. Anything to add?
Yeah. Joe Biden sucks.
Thanks for listening. And as always, you stay savage, America.